this is Cheri at djsundry.blogspot.com, and today I am bringing you a long overdue video. Long overdue just because I haven't done a video in quite some time. I've been super busy at work. I'm preparing for a missions trip, and then on top of that I got sick, and so I've even missed a day of work, which is not completely normal for me to call a sick day, but I have had to do that because I just haven't been feeling well. But last week my brand new Foxy came, and I just did not feel well enough to shoot a video about it, and I wanted to get it set up and show you how I set it up, and so today I am doing that. Now this is a number 7 compact edition. It does have the spine reinforcement there, and it's in sugar icing leather. Icing's a color, sugar is the type of leather that we're calling it. I chose the gray. Honestly, I was waiting for a purple moccasin, and those leathers were out, and I decided I really liked this gray, and I thought it would be pretty with the purple, and so I chose the gray with light purple elastic, and you can barely see the stitching on here, but it is also light purple. Now I am using this for my war journal, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, and I'll explain kind of what that is and where that concept came from. And so this is something I am going to be using for very long term, and so I went ahead and got my name engraved on it, and with some silver foil embossing in it. This is definitely going to be kind of my go-to for quite some time. Now I want to compare that. My original Foxy is this one. This is also a number 7, and this is classic size. Now they are pretty close to the same size, and if I pull the elastic off, you can see that they're pretty close to the same. I would say the compact's just a little bit wider, and this, I don't even know if they have these in classics anymore. You would have to check. And this is just simple stitching. There are no pockets in there, and I think part of the reason it looks a little bit smaller is because I'm using standard Midori type inserts in this one, and so the leather kind of curves around it a little bit more. You can see that they're very similar. Now this is the Wanderlust Butterscotch, and this particular piece is fairly bubbly. It's still has that delicious leather smell. Maybe delicious isn't the right word, but I do really love this one still, and I will continue to use it for other things, but I wanted the second one for my war journal. So what is a war journal? Well, that's what I asked when I heard somebody use the term war journal, because my immediate thought went to the movie War Room. Now, if you haven't seen that movie and you are ready to really kind of jumpstart your prayer life, and maybe you're ready to you realize that it's not where it should be, then I highly recommend it. I don't give it 100% approval rate, simply because I'm pretty particular about the type of music that I listen to, and definitely the music in it is not something that I personally enjoyed or listened to, but other than that, the movie was very good, very convicting. And so I highly recommend it. In the movie The War Room, the main character had a closet that was her prayer closet, and that was where she went to war, and where she would spend her time in prayer. Well, I don't have a war room, but when I heard of this concept of a war journal or a war binder, I thought that will work for me. So before I go even further, and I know this is about the Foxy, all this extra stuff is just, I just am opening and sharing my heart and what I'm doing with this. I will get into the Foxy in a minute. Now this is a journal that a dear friend gave me for Christmas a year ago, and this is what I used all year for my sermon notes. And I took it to church with me pretty consistently, and I found that it was very helpful and helped me focus more on the word being spoken if I was actually taking notes, and I knew that. We should all know that. The other thing that I used it for was my prayer journal, and so it is not quite full. If you get to the end, let's see, probably Oh, I also used it for the Bible study I was leading to take my notes for the Bible study. But this back section isn't quite full. I kept using it through the first of the year, even though I was moving towards this. I was waiting to get my journal, and I figured I would keep using this one until, even though I had the inserts ready and prepared, I would keep using it for these were my prayer requests, you know, like so-and-so sick, or so-and-so's in the hospital, or so-and-so passed away and their family needs prayer. That's what I would use it for. So at the beginning of the year, I started setting up my inserts, even though I was waiting for my Foxy. And the inserts that I chose were these Moleskine Cahier inserts, and they fit perfectly in here. And I personally like the Moleskine paper. Not everyone does. It does have some shadowing on ghosting with my fountain pens, but it's not enough that bothers me. And so I got those and I started setting it up. And so I did choose the pockets on this one. Excuse me. Because, again, this is a piece that I don't plan on ever getting rid of. You know, some of them, like this one, someday I may decide I want something a little bit different, and I may find someone that would like this one. So that one may go. It may not, but this one is now a permanent part of my devotional life. Excuse me one moment. So I went ahead and got pockets for it. And these are the credit card pockets. And right now I just have little old gift cards and things with washi tape around them. So I have a lot of washi. Now this journaling to me is not about all decorating fancy. So I will use these things, but I probably won't use them all the time. I also have some of these little dewdrop stickers from Martha Stewart in here. These are some scriptures that I was going through for a friend, and I was going to compile a list. This was a list compiled by the Reset Girl, and I was going through and making sure that I was in agreement with her on them, and I am with the ones I have gone through so far, and preparing it for a friend that needed to have a quick reference guide for a particular area that she was battling, and so that's what that was for. Then here I have my first dashboard. Now these dashboards I made myself. Most of these papers that you will see as far as the pattern papers are now retired. If it's not a retired paper, I will let you know. But this was a piece of retired paper from La Vie en Rose, from Close to My Heart from about a year ago. And so I started out with, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places." Ephesians 6:12. And I just printed that up on a piece of white paper and then adhered all of that down. And then we get into the first insert. Again, this is also from the same collection. Another scripture, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God, for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity in the obedience of Christ." 2 Corinthians 10:4-5. And so I just covered my first insert, and this is my prayer journal. Now I have it clipped because the first several pages I've divided up my main prayer list as daily prayer requests, and so those are in there and ready, and that's what those first several pages are, and they're personal. I don't want to have them but then moving forward, this is where I'll start my prayer and praise journal of things when I start taking this to church. I haven't made it to church since I got my new Foxy. So then this is just the back side of that first insert, and then we move into the second insert. And the second insert is a place for me to record some of my personal devotional thoughts. Now, I haven't been consistently using this particular one, and I'll show you why in a minute, but I will be using it more throughout the year. I'm just currently working on another study. And this is a study in the poetry books, and so I am just as something comes to me from when I'm reading the books of poetry, I just write my thoughts down in there. So this will be my poetry book study. Again, this is a retired paper. This is a paper from Close to My Heart, and it's from the, I believe it's from the Hey Love, or Oh Lovely collection, Hey Lovely collection. It's a brand new collection from Close to My Heart. Let me pull it out here and double check. Yes, it's Hello Lovely, and it is this, no, it's not either from that collection. It's from one of the other new collections. Let's move back here. It's from the Dreamin' Big collection right here. So anyway, side note. So this one is probably the only current piece that I use. Well, there's one other current piece that I used. And the other, my focus this year, my word of the year is worship. And so I have started. Also, again, this is set aside currently for another study that I'm doing, but this is, since it's my focus on the year, I started with Warren Wiersbe's Be Worshipful Bible study, and I just downloaded it on my Kindle, and so this is the beginning of that study, and as that continues, I will continue to use that. And then this insert is completely empty because, again, I haven't made it to church since my Foxy came. But this is where I'll put my sermon notes in here. Again, retired paper. This piece of vellum is the other piece of paper that's not retired. This is from the Uptown Fundamentals collection from Close to My Heart. And I just cut it and inserted it in there. And this is the final journal that I have in here for right now. And this journal is very, very special to me because I am in the process of preparing for a missions trip. It's a foreign missions trip. I'll be gone about a week, and I will be going with a team, and we'll be doing medical missions as well as working with small house churches in the area that we're going to. So some of what I have in here is my personal thoughts, my personal prayer requests that I'm praying for, some I've shared. And then also a devotional that I'm doing as I prepare for that. And I'm doing this devotional called Gospel Meditations for Missions. And I'm a little over halfway through it. And so this is where I'm putting my thoughts and the quotes from in there. So it's a great Bible study. I highly recommend it, even if you're not going on a missions trip. It really helps make you think about your missionaries and are you praying for them as you ought. So then finally we have the secretarial pocket, and I have some stickers back here and my pin loop. And that is my war journal. Now I do plan on, when I am done with my missions trip, of course that insert will come out. I hope to have it completely filled by the time I get home from my missions trip. And so then I made this handmade insert, and this is made out of watercolor paper, and this is going to be a place for me to you know, just kind of doodle and play and put quotes and things in, and that will go in here. And then as I complete Bible studies, and I'll be changing out the Bible study ones as they get full as well. So thanks so much for stopping by today, and remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.